Right. So, good morning, all. Good morning. I'm audible to you. I'm audible. Arvind, Uma, Aish, Aisha. I'm audible to you. Okay. Thank you. So we'll start here. Now it is 11:09. We'll start after 2 minutes. Right. బాలు ఇక్కడ వీళ్ళేరి ఈ వాటర్ చెప్తావా బాగా ఉడకబోస్తుంది పిల్లని ఏం చేసి రైట్ అరవింద్ సాత్విక Anishka, right. Right. Now we'll have a paper discussion of the NEET 2021. The last class we have discussed the questions related to the cell cycle and cell division, and to the continuation of that, and again the other questions in the related chapters of cell cycle and cell division, and after that we'll do molecular biology and biotechnology related questions. Right. So to the continuation of these questions in last class, so we have seen the questions related to the cell biology, right? Now there is a question related to the cell. When a centromere is situated in the middle, now the question is when a centromere is situated in the middle of two equal arms, middle of the two equal arms of a chromosome, the chromosome is referred as right. Right. Now this is a very simple straight line question. And here the options given are the first one, acrocentric. Options are acrocentric, metacentric, third option, telocentric, fourth option is submetacentric. Right. Now here this is a question related to the position of the centromere. Position of the centromere. Now a centromere has been referred as a primary construction. The centromere has been referred as the primary constriction. This has been called the primary constriction, where the two chromatids are going to attach with this. The two chromatids are going to attach with that structure. That is what we're calling as a centromere. Now this has been called the primary constriction. Now basing on the position of the centromere, the chromosomes is of one has been called metacentric, submetacentric, telocentric, acrocentric, asymmetry. Now, the 5 different types of this, like chromosomes, are identified. Now, in the given statement here, if the centromere has been located exactly in the center, means dividing the chromatid arms into two equal, then the condition is what we're calling as metacentric. This is what we're calling as metacentric, and this shape is what we're calling as, this is a V shape. This shape is what we're calling as a V shape. Equal arms. Now, getting the two equal arms, this has been possibly you can arise now during the type of this cell cycle, cell division, means in which phase, the best phase in order to study, the best phase in order to study the shapes of the chromosome. So here, the best phase in order to study the shapes of chromosome. So in order to study the shapes of the chromosome, that is anaphase. Anaphase with the different shapes of the chromosome that could be possibly been seen. Now, where the division of the centromere is going to take place. The morphology of the chromosome structure that could be best visualized. The morphology of the chromosome structure. That is in the case of this metaphase. But the shapes of this chromosome, like V shape, J shape, I shape, L shape, like these shapes that could be best possibly seen in the case of this anaphase of mitosis. Now, this anaphase of the mitosis, during that time, the chromosome, if the centromere position has been present exactly in the center and dividing this chromatids into two equal arms, the condition has been called metacentric. The chromosome has been called metacentric, and it has been referred as the V shape. This has been referred as V shape. Right now, this centromere has been called the primary construction. This has been called primary construction, where the chromatids, they are going to bind or they are going to attach to that primary construction. Now, around the centromere, you can find a disc-shaped protein. A disc-shaped protein which has been present around the centromere. It is what we're calling as kinetochore. This has been called the kinetochore. So the disc-shaped protein around the centromere is what we're calling as kinetochore. Right? So this is with respect to the question. When the centromere is situated in the middle of the two equal arms of the chromosome has been referred as, this has been referred as metacentric. Right? Now we'll move into the another question with respect to the cell or the cell cycle or cell division. Right? So we are moving into another question. Right? Now here there is a list has been given here. Match the following. List 1, list 2. Match the following. List 1 and list 2. List 1, list 2. Here A, cristae, and here B, the thylakoids. C, centromere, and D, cisterna. Now, in a list 2, we have Roman number 1, primary constriction in chromosome. Now, disc-shaped sac in Golgi apparatus. In Golgi apparatus. Third one, infoldings in mitochondria. And again, the fourth one, flattened membranous tracts in the stroma. The flattened membranous sacs in stroma of a plastic, right? So here in the match the following question related to the match the following, like in this NEET examination 2021, many of the questions have been came in related to the match the following type. It is like again the time taking process, but anyhow, if you know one or two answers, you may probably find the answer. This is like somewhat logical, but it is again a simple one, right? Now, what is a cristae? What are cristae? Now, the cristae are the infoldings in mitochondria. A cristae is what we're calling as the infoldings of this mitochondria. Now, this is the outer membrane and the inner membrane of the mitochondria. This is the folding, and the foldings of this inner membrane, foldings of the inner membrane into the mitochondrial matrix. This is what we're calling as the cristae. This is what we're calling as the cristae. So the infoldings of the inner membrane into the mitochondrial matrix, it is what we're calling as a cristae. Now this cristae, it increases the surface area, the cristae. Now on this cristae, you can find what here some lollipop-like structures which are called as ATP synthase particles, which are been concerned with this, the biosynthesis of ATP molecule. But anyhow, the infoldings of the mitochondria into the mitochondrial matrix, they have been called cristae. So this A, so this will move into the option 3. Next is the thylakoids. Now, these thylakoids are the sac-like structures you can find in chloroplast. Now, thylakoid. Now, this is chloroplast. This chloroplast is a oval-shaped structure, and this is a oval-shaped and again double membranous structure. In this chloroplast, you can find a sac-like structures, and these sac-like structures is what we're calling as thylakoid. So this is a thylakoid. This is one thylakoid. So here, so flattened membranous sac-like structures in the stroma of a plastid is what we're calling as a thylakoid. So thylakoid, that will go to the option 4. Next, a centromere is, just now we have seen the previous question, basing on the position of the centromere, the chromosomes. In the same manner, a centromere here it has been called the primary constriction in a chromosome. So for C, this will move to the option 1. Next, a cisterna. A cisterna is a flattened sac or disc-shaped structure in the case of this Golgi apparatus. A cisterna is a flattened sac-like structure, and this flattened sac-like structure in this is what we are calling as a cisterna in the case of this Golgi apparatus. Now, this Golgi apparatus, it is very clear, distinct in the case of animal cells, but in a plant cells, these Golgi apparatus, they have been called dictyosomes. They are not visible in the case of this plant cells. Now, this cisterna is long, elongated, disc-shaped structure, and this long, elongated, disc-shaped structure is what we're calling as a cisterna. The components of this Golgi apparatus, which includes a cisterna, a vesicle, and a tubule. So here, with respect to the cisterna, it's a disc-shaped structure sac in Golgi apparatus. It is what we're calling as a cisterna. So this is a cisterna. So this is a simple, relatively, but again, if you know one or two, probably you are going to do this. This is again a concept-based related question. This is, I think, this is an easy one. This is an easy question related in botany. Right? So we'll move into another question related to cell and cell biology. Next. Now, which of the following stages of meiosis involves the division of centromere? Now we'll look into this. Another question in related to the cell and cell cycle and cell division. Which of the following stages of meiosis. Which of the following stages of the meiosis? Meiosis involves the division of a centromere. Involves the division of a centromere. Right. So here the options are, the first one is the telophase. Telophase 2. The second option, metaphase 1. The third option, metaphase 2. The fourth option, anaphase 2. Right. So this question related to the cell cycle and cell division. And again, the question related to the meiosis. Meiosis. Now this meiosis is what we're calling as reduction division. This is what we're calling as the reduction division, where the ploidy of the chromosome number is reduced into half. The ploidy of the chromosome number is reduced into half. Now let us take a cell with a ploidy of the chromosome number 2n is equal to 20. After the completion of the meiosis, the ploidy of this will be n is equal to 10. Means that this meiosis generally takes place in diploid cells. The meiosis generally takes place in diploid cells, but not in haploid cells. Right. Now, in the given options, which of the following stages of the meiosis involves the division of the centromere? So, the division of the centromere that occurs in meiosis 2 of anaphase 2, which involves the meiosis 2 of anaphase 2. This is a correct answer. Now, what about the other options? Here it has been given here the telophase 2, metaphase 1, metaphase 2. Now, these are not related here. Now, anaphase 2 has been characterized by the division of the centromere in the case of this meiosis 2. And again, the division of the centromere is also been observed in the case of this mitotic anaphase, where in mitotic anaphase, the division of the centromere occurs. Again, the same type of the division of the centromere that takes place during in meiosis 2 of anaphase 2. So your answer should be meiosis 2 of anaphase 2, where the division of the centromere is going to take place. That is the most appropriate answer to the related one, or the most correct answer. Now, what about this metaphase 2? A metaphase 2. What about this? A metaphase 2. In this, all the chromosomes, they align themselves in an equatorial plate. All the chromosomes, they align themselves in an equatorial plate in this manner. This is, they align themselves in an equatorial plate is what we're calling as, this is in metaphase 2. Now, in a metaphase 1, the bivalent chromosomes, they align themselves in an equatorial plate. In metaphase 1 has been characterized by the bivalent chromosomes, their arrangement on the equatorial plate. So this metaphase 1, now this diagram here I am representing here, the bivalent chromosomes, one will be what here? One will be maternal and the other is the paternal. This bivalent chromosomes, they align themselves on equatorial plate. This is what we're calling as metaphase 1. This is the metaphase 1, right? So here, in this case, the chromosomes are only one. In this case, the chromosomes are two, and they are being called bivalent. So all the bivalent chromosomes, one has been called maternal, the other has been called paternal. All of them are been arranged themselves in an equatorial plate that takes place during in the metaphase 1. In the case of the metaphase 2, it is not the bivalent, it is the univalent or the monovalent chromosome that align themselves in an equatorial plane. In the case of this metaphase 2. Now this metaphase 2, or you can compare with this mitotic metaphase. The metaphase 2 has been comparable with mitotic metaphase. Right? So this is metaphase 1. Now, in a telophase 2, in a telophase 2, so we have the formation of the nuclear membrane, the cell organelles are again reappears. Like these events are going to take place after the completion of this telophase 2. So, which of the following stages where the division of the centromere is going to take place means the answer is the anaphase 2. Anaphase 2 of meiosis 2, where the division of the centromere is going to take place. In the meiosis 1 of the anaphase 1, where the homologous chromosomes they tend to separate with each other, and these homologous chromosomes they move to the respective poles. In the case of this anaphase 1, but in anaphase 2, the division of the centromere is going to take place. So your answer should be this one, fourth one, anaphase 2 is the correct one. Which are the following stages where the division of the centromere takes place? This is the correct one, right? Next one after this, related to the cell and cell biology. Then I'm checking this. Any other questions are left here? Oh, there is a one more question here in this related to the cell cycle and cell division. So we'll move into this question. Again, this is the match the following one. This is the match the following. Now here, match the following. List one and again list two. List one, list two. Here A in this S phase. Next B G2 phase. C quiescent stage. D G1 phase. Right. So here in the list 2, Roman number 1, here proteins are synthesized. Proteins are synthesized. Second one, inactive phase. Third option, interval between mitosis and initiation of the DNA replication. And the fourth option here, DNA replication. Right? So here, this is again related to the match the following type of question. So here the match the following again, list one S phase, G2 phase, quiescent stage, G1 phase were given here. And here related to that, proteins are synthesized, inactive phase, interval between the mitosis and initiation of DNA replication. And fourth option is the DNA replication. So in this, we have to go with this again, the match the following studies. Now, before going to this, we have a brief explanation. Now, in this is the interface is divided into G1, S, G2. This phase is what we're calling as the M phase. Now, this phase is G1, S, G2. Now, this G1 has been called gap 1, or this has been called post-mitotic. This has been called post-mitotic phase. S has been called the synthesis phase. And this is otherwise been called as the invisible phase. Invisible phase or the synthesis phase. G2, this has been called gap 2. This has been called the pre-mitotic. This has been called the pre-mitotic phase. So this is G1, S, G2 and M phase. This M phase which includes nuclear division and followed with the cytoplasmic division. So here, which includes the M phase karyokinesis, and followed with cytokinesis. So karyokinesis means the nuclear division. Cytokinesis means the division of the cytoplasm. So karyokinesis and cytokinesis, these will, what we are calling as, this is been called the YUM phase. Now in the given options here, the first one, yes phase. The word yes means it has been concerned with this, the biosynthetic phase. The biosynthetic phase means in this, the one more copy of the DNA molecule, and again, the histone proteins are going to form, and in this, the duplication of the centriole that is going to take place during in the S phase. Now, in the given statement, in the list 1 and the list 2 here, the S phase, the proteins are synthesized. Inactive phase, interval between the mitosis and initiation of DNA replication. And since we are concerned with this DNA replication, this is the related one. S, we should go with this. S phase is the option is the fourth one. In S phase, the content of DNA gets doubles. In S phase, the content of DNA gets doubles. If the content of DNA is 2C, after replication, this will be 4C. So one more copy is going to add it here. Because of that, this has been taken as 4C. Now, G2 phase, the next is the quiescent stage, and the next one has been called G1 phase. Now, you have a G1 phase and you have a quiescent stage. Now, we know that very well, a quiescent stage is an metabolically active, but with respect to the cell division, it is inactive. In a quiescent stage, it is represented with G0. This is represented with G0. The cell is not undergoing for cell division. In terms of the cell division is inactive, but the cell is metabolically active. So with respect to the given options here, in this, the quiescent stage, this is a representation of an inactive phase of the cell division. So for C, the quiescent stage should go with this at 2. The next option here, G2 and G1 phases have been given. Now with respect to this, we should go here. Now here, interval between the mitosis and the initiation of the DNA replication. Now an interval between the mitosis means M phase, and again the initiation of the DNA replication means this is S phase. So in between M phase and S phase, the phase which has been occurring between this is what we're calling as G1. So try to look at here, there is an interval between the mitosis means this, and initiation of DNA replication means this. So the phase that comes between these two should go with this G1. So in this, the G1, it related to here, the interval, this is related to this one. So the interval between the mitosis and the initiation of the DNA replication is the correct one. Now the next, what is left here? The G2. Then the leftover topic is G2. It has been concerned with this, proteins are being synthesized. Now, especially the proteins related to the tubulin, the proteins related which helps in the formation of contractile spindle fibers. Those tubulin type of the proteins formation, it generally takes place during in the G2 phase. So the proteins are synthesized during in the G2. So whenever the questions related to the cell cycle or cell division comes to you, better to have plans on this flow chart, and in this we have to represent the subphases of that interface like G1, S, G2, and after that M phase. Again, M phase we have karyokinesis and followed with cytokinesis. We have to represent all this in a systematic manner, and then we have to apply the concept. That would be a better idea while approaching these type of the questions, right? So these are the related questions which are came in NEET 2021 related to the cell and cell biology chapter, right? Now, in this time, after the cell and cell cycle and cell division, we'll discuss the question related to the biotechnology now. Questions related to biotechnology, right? Next, during the purification process, question related to the biotechnology. Now here, during the purification process, for recombinant DNA technology, for recombinant DNA technology, addition of chilled ethanol precipitates out in this the options. The first one, polysaccharides. Second option, RNA. Third one, DNA. Fourth one, histones. Right. Now this is question related to the biotechnology. Now this chapter, biotechnology, molecular biology, cell cycle and cell division. Now these chapters has got more weightage in as per the NEET examination point of view. Now the biotechnology related question here. During the purification process, the recombinant DNA technology, the addition of the chilled ethanol, which helps in the precipitation of the DNA molecule, which helps in the precipitation of the DNA molecule. Now, along this, now in sometimes here we have used here. In this case, a chilled ethanol has been used here. In some other cases, it may be used isopropanol also. In sometimes, the isopropanol is also been used for in order to precipitate out the DNA molecule. Now, what are the steps involved in a recombinant DNA technology? How the process of this recombinant DNA technology has been carried out? The steps which are generally been means isolation of the genomic DNA is the first step. And in order to isolate the genomic DNA means the cell where it is been isolated from, the source, whether it may be plant cell or animal cell or a fungal cell or a bacterial cell. Now we want that the entire genomic DNA has to be extracted out. And while doing that extraction process, we are going to add the different type of this. What here? Different type of chemicals. Now they may be a cell wall degrading enzymes, or they may be different type of detergents, or they may be different type of buffers that are going to be added here. Now let us have an example here. Now we want to isolate the fungal DNA from a cell called a fungi. Now we have taken what here in a test tube. In a test tube, we have taken some of the fungal cells. So these are the fungi or the fungal cells. Right? Now to these fungal cells, it has been added with an enzyme, that is what we're calling as chitinase. This has been added with an enzyme called chitinase. Now this chitinase that is going to degrade, this is a cell wall degrading enzyme, is chitinase. Because in fungi, the cell wall is made up of with chitin. So here we are adding an enzyme that is going to remove what here, that is going to remove the cell wall of a fungi. So this chitinase that is going to degrade the cell wall. So once the cell wall part has been removed, here, then this entire test tube means having with these cells with everything, then it has been done the centrifugation. It has been done a technique, that is what we're calling as a centrifugation. After doing the centrifugation, at the bottom you can find the cell wall debris. After the completion of the centrifugation, at the bottom of this you can find the cell wall debris. We have to remove that cell wall debris, and again to the cells we have added the detergent buffer or the lysis buffer that is going to remove the cell membrane. And then we have to add the different type of other enzymes, like we have to add RNAs, we have to add proteases. So by adding all these enzymes, we are into removing the associated proteins, the associated RNA molecules to this DNA molecule. And in order to have the pure form of the DNA, the treatment of proteases, the treatment of RNases has to be repeated for many times in order to isolate the pure form of the DNA molecule. Now, why a pure form of a DNA has been required in a molecular research work or in a biotechnology? Why a pure form of a DNA has been required? What is the reason? The reason is that this pure form of a DNA, if a DNA is a pure DNA molecule, then only the restriction enzymes are able to identify, they are able to recognize that a pure form of DNA, and they are going to cut the DNA molecule at a particular sequence, and that particular sequence is what we're calling as palindromic sequence. Now, if the DNA is not pure, if the DNA is associated with protein or RNA, then the restriction enzymes will unable to recognize that. And as a result of this, what happens here? The genomic DNA, even after the treatment of the restriction enzymes, it doesn't produces any cohesive or sticky ends or the blunt ends in the DNA molecule. Because of that reason, while doing the research in a molecular biology or in biotechnology, the form of DNA that should be in a pure form, and that pure form, in order to obtain or in order to get in a precipitate out from a test tube, to this we have to add chilled ethanol. We have to add a chilled ethanol. After adding the chilled ethanol, the DNA molecule will precipitate out and it will comes above the test tube. It will comes above the test tube, right? So this is the concept related question which has been given, the concept related question related to the biotechnology, the principles of biotechnology, right? So I hope you have done this. Majority of the people you have made this correct, right? Now we'll move into this another question in biotechnology. We'll move into another question here related to the biotechnology. Right? Right. When a gene targeting involving gene amplification is attempted, here a question related to a biotechnology of 2021, when a gene targeting, when a gene targeting involving gene amplification, involving a gene amplification is attempted, is attempted in an individual's tissue, in an individual's tissue to treat disease, to treat disease is known as, is known as the options. The first one, safety testing. Second option, biopiracy. Third one, gene therapy. Fourth option, molecular diagnosis. So this is question related to the biotechnology applications. Now, when a gene targeting involving in a gene amplification is attempted in an individual, again in the tissues, and especially this is to be done or this is to be suggestible at embryonic condition. This is to be suggestible when a child is growing or when a child is in at under like during its developmental stages, embryonic condition. This probably this is a best solution. This is a method or a good therapy. So here, this is like a question related to the definition. When a gene targeting involving a gene amplification is attempted in an individual's tissue to treat a disease, this is known as what here? This is known as a gene therapy. This is known as a gene therapy. Right? So now this possibly one of the a good application in biotechnology, but it should be done in embryonic conditions only, not in an adult individual. Right? Now here the other options. What is a safety testing? What is a safety testing? The word safety testing means in order to know the efficacy of the drug. Now, which concentration of the drug is suitable, whether it is of 1 mg or 2 mg or 50 mg. Now, the safety of the drug is generally being done in a clinical trials. This is what we're calling as the safety testing of the drug. Generally, it has been done in a laboratory. Right? And after that, biopiracy, the unauthorized utilization of the bioresources. This is a biopiracy, unauthorized utilization of the bioresources. Next, molecular diagnosis. This molecular diagnosis like a PCR, ELISA, these are what we're calling as the molecular diagnosis. These molecular diagnosis are early detection. Early detection, it is a very, very useful technique in the case of this PCR, polymerase chain reaction, ELISA, enzyme linked immunoabsorbent assay, ELISA. These are generally been comes under the category of this molecular diagnosis in a biotechnology. So to this question, this is like a definition type of question. Related to this, your answer should be gene therapy, right? Next, we're moving into the another question of biotechnology. It is related to the PCR. Right? So here in a PCR, which of the following is a correct sequence? Which of the following which of the following is the correct sequence? Correct sequence of a PCR. What is PCR? This is the polymerase chain reaction. So which of the following is a correct sequence of a PCR? First option is annealing, denaturation, extension. The second one, denaturation, annealing, extension. Third one, denaturation, extension, annealing. Fourth one, extension, denaturation, annealing. Right? So a PCR, a polymerase chain reaction. This PCR, this reaction is generally been carried out in an instrument called as thermocycler. This PCR or a polymerase chain reaction, this has been carried out in an instrument called as thermocycler. Now, the steps involved in a PCR, the first one is the denaturation. Now, in this denaturation, where a double-stranded DNA molecule has been converted into a single-stranded DNA molecule. The double-stranded DNA molecule has been converted where the hydrogen bonds which have been present in between them are broken and they are been converted into a single-stranded DNA molecule. Now, in a denaturation, the temperature has been applied, a temperature of 90 to 95 degrees centigrade of temperature is that is generally been applied during in a PCR reaction, and this at this temperature, the double-stranded DNA molecule has been converted into a single-stranded DNA molecule. This is the first step in PCR is the denaturation, right? And after the denaturation, the next step is called annealing. This annealing, the temperature of annealing temperature is generally it is of 40 to 45 degrees centigrade of temperature. Now, at this temperature of this annealing, the primers they are going to join. One has been called forward primer, the other has been called reverse primer. These primers they are going to join at this a temperature that is what we're calling as annealing temperature. What is the annealing temperature? 40 to 45. What is the denaturation temperature? 90 to 95. And once the primers are involved in this process, and then the next step is what we're calling as extension. Extension of the primer. Extension of the primer. Now, this extension has been carried by an enzyme called DNA dependent DNA polymerase enzyme. That is what we're calling as extension. So the steps involved in a PCR is denaturation, followed by annealing, and followed with extension. These are the steps or generally been seen in a PCR. Now, what is the procedure in order to know whether we have made the PCR or the product of the PCR is correct or not? Now, generally, the PCR has been run in a small tubes. They have been called cuvettes. This has been called a PCR tube, or this has been called a cuvette. A small cuvette of a size of 1 ml or 2 ml capacity. In this small cuvette, in this, the entire reactants are added. The reactants in terms of this, what here? Foreign DNA, which is generally a double-stranded DNA molecule, forward primer, reverse primer, buffers, magnesium, water, DNA polymerases, everything is added here in this small tube. That is what we're calling as a PCR vial or a PCR tube. And now this PCR tube, now this cap is made tighten by keeping this tight, right? Now this PCR tube, now it has been placed in a thermocycler. Now in a thermocycler, the reactions are going on. The first step is denaturation. The second step is annealing. The third step is extension. And after the completion of this extension, again the double-stranded DNA again goes for denaturation, annealing, extension. This will repeatedly going on. And again, in a thermocycler, there is a time adjustment is there. The time adjustment, whether the reaction to be carried out for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, the time adjustment in the PCR machine or a thermocycler is maintained. This is like similar to our hot air oven in our kitchens. If you maintain 100 degree for 1 minute, automatically after keeping that, the time and temperature, automatically it will turns on and off. It is similar to that, the PCR in a thermocycler, everything has been kept automatically, and after the completion of that, we are getting what here? We are getting the PCR product here. And how should we have to analyze whether the product is of the correct or the wrong one? Means the product which has been obtained here, and this product we have to do the electrophoresis. This product we have to do the electrophoresis. So here we have to take the foreign gene in one well, and again the PCR product. This is a PCR product on one well, and again, this is a foreign gene on another well. After doing the electrophorus, if both of them are will comes to life in the same length, in the same length, then it has been called the PCR reaction is the correct. In case of this, if this will go somewhere here and this will go in this is a foreign gene, like this gene is primarily been added here. If this is here and this is like here, then the PCR is wrong. Again, you have to go with this, working on this a PCR experiment. Again, you have to repeat that procedure, right? So this PCR, it's a lengthy, laborious technique, but this is a one of the good technique in order to produce more copies of the desired genes, right? So in this, the question related to the PCR, we have to go the denaturation, annealing, extension. This is a correct statement. The answer should be this one, right? So thank you one and all for your patience, and we'll meet again in tomorrow's class and we'll discuss the other questions related to the biotechnology and molecular biology in tomorrow's class. Right? Thank you.